Hey guys, how's it going? This is the Bald Metal Nerd coming at you with another vid, and if you read the title of this, you know I'm going to be talking about The Last Jedi. I know I'm late on this, but I just saw it today on December 26th, so I figured I would talk about it while it's real fresh in my head. Basically, a few warnings before I go into this. Yes, there will probably be some spoilers in this review. In fact, I can guarantee there will be some spoilers in this review. Secondly, I might call the Resistance the Rebellion and the First Order the Empire and the Supreme Leader the Emperor because it's all the same fucking shit. So don't be a little pedant down there and be like, well, you know, it's the Resistance. Fucking fuck off. Okay, so yeah, just so you know, that's probably going to happen because I might get some things like that wrong, but who cares? Anyway, we're going to go ahead. We're going to dive into, we're going to talk about the movie. We're going to break it down a little bit, yada, 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 you know. So, all right, movie opens up, and there's a really funny moment where Poe Dameron's kind of messing with the general of the in the Empire on one of the Star Destroyers. It's an amusing moment played for laughs. Big space battle ensues. Yada yada yada. Rey is on the planet where Luke is, and she's like, "Hey, Luke, let's do something." Luke's like, throws the fucking lightsaber. It's like, "Fuck you, I don't want to do it." Yeah. So it's a very interesting start to the movie. You know what bugged me now I had a few problems during this first initial space battle. um, One of the frankly stupidest things I've ever seen in a movie is in it. Okay. At some point during the battle, Princess Leia gets blown out into space, right? She's just floating there. I mean, for all intents and purposes she should be dead, but no. Since she's a powerful force person, she like wakes up and she like levitates to this other ship, and then of course, she's in a coma or whatever for like a half hour, but you get the idea. It's like she saves herself, and it's like, okay, fine, whatever. It was stupid in my opinion. That's neither here nor there. And basically, at this point in the movie, we're going back between the space battle and Luke's Rey trying to convince Luke, and Luke's just like, I don't, Jedi shouldn't be anything. I don't want to deal with this. Go away, and yada yada yada. And there's that interplay, right? And Rey just keeps bugging the shit out of him, like, oh please, shoot it, be a Jedi, yada yada. Right. And he's just like, no. Yeah, and that goes on for a while, right? And then, obviously, at that point, and then at some point, the rebellion ships go to light speed, jump away. But then, the Empire comes up right behind them. Sorry, First Order or whatever. And they're like, oh shit, they can now track us through hyperspace. They could never do that before. Yada, yada, yada. And then they come up with a 2-bit plan of Finn and Poe Dameron come up with this plan of, hey, let's, get on this ship and, disable this tracking device or whatever, right? So they go to a planet, basically, with the some random character Finn bumps into, named Rose. She's okay. She's nothing spectacular. And she's like, oh, I really hate this planet because the people here are rich, and they're rich because they abuse animals and they sell weapons to the Empire. Sorry, First Order. Oh, they're so bad, And it's like, yeah, they suck, and this is a kind of an issue I have with the movie. Star Wars traditionally is not the type of movie to try to insert any sort of political message, right? Even though a lot of people would call me a a lefty libtard, right? I found it fucking ham-fisted and unnecessary. Because they weren't subtle about it, and they really didn't do it very well. It was really ham-fisted and just awkwardly inserted into the movie, right? It did not do a good job, even though, yeah, I might agree with some of that message. The way it was presented was just stupid. Just no other way to put it. Yeah, it could have been done a lot better. And of course, the other part that was inserted into this movie is, girls were calling all the shots in the Resistance, right? And boy, oh boy, were they fucking losers. Because, I know that, and it's not just me saying this, a lot of the writers, the way they were promoting it, oh, this is so feminist, oh, we're going to be, well, if feminists are or if women are that big of losers, I sure as fuck don't want them in charge of anything I'm working on, because, the Resistance, man, they like just massive amounts of the people in the rebellion. They're just getting killed left and right. And by the end of the movie, there's almost none of them left. So they do a bang up job of leading, right? So anyway, and then basically going back to the Luke and Rey storyline, it's like eventually, he explains, oh, well, I failed Kylo Ren because saw the darkness rising in him, and I was thinking, oh, I gotta do something, and then basically he was standing over Kylo Ren with a lightsaber, was gonna kill him, and of course, he's like, fuck that, I can't do that, I'm Luke Skywalker, I'm not gonna do that. Kylo Ren wakes up, sees Luke standing over him with the lightsaber, and, well, things go to shit at that point, right? And then, obviously, Rey's like, well, I'm not going to change her mind. I'm leaving. So she goes back to her little boyfriend, Kylo Ren, because, they've been force timing between each other the whole time she's been away. They're chatting through their minds in the Force, I guess. And, she goes back and, he takes her into where Snoke is, and there's this big speech, and Snoke's fucking with her, and she's like, oh, this Emperor's such a dick. And Snoke's basically saying to Kylo Ren, oh, you're just a little bitch, and you're said, but now, and he's like, just, and then, of course, Kylo Ren uses the Force, does the lightsaber, and kills Snoke. My biggest disappointment, and then of course there was a lightsaber fight where they kill all the guards around Snoke. I had two very disappointing things about this part of the movie. One, they gave no real explanation as to, who Snoke is and how he accomplished anything that he accomplished. There was no information about who the fuck Snoke is and how in the fuck he managed to rally the Empire again, and become such a force. That was just totally glossed over, done. So that answer, fuck you, we're not answering that question, right? That irritated me. Also, what irritated me is after, the whole battle's over, the lightsaber battle, and, Kylo Ren is standing there, is like trying to talk to Rey, and he's like, oh, we'll bring a different order. Let's just forget this, but we'll rule the galaxy. And I'm just like, ugh. No, it's going to go back to status quo, because now, it was like, oh, Kylo Ren's going to be evil and Rey's going to be good. Fucking lame, because now I was hoping that either A, Kylo Ren would be good, right? That'd have been cool. If he had actually redeemed himself, or hell, if Rey had turned bad, that would have been cool, because that would have been a twist, right? Not something you saw coming. Or maybe, they go totally neutral, right? They're just like, you know what? No, we're not going to participate in this conflict at all anymore. The hell with it. Let's just go hang out and do something different. Let's go to let's just step away from this, build some sort of new life or whatever. Let's do something different. Be neutral. No! No, it wasn't like they both went good, they both went bad, they went neutral. No, it was fucking lame old. Kylo's gonna go be evil, and Rey's gonna go be good. So basically, we got status quo. We got the Rebellion has a Jedi, and the Empire has a Sith. You know, just a fucking rehash. So that's what happens there, right? And then, of course, and then, you know, as the transports, because of course they run out of gas on the cruiser, and they're sending all the transports to the planet, and you know, that's when the second head chick in charge who made up stupid plans, right? She's like, well, let's, you know, she's like, well, I know what I'm going to do. And she, you know, light speeds into the Empire's fleet, fucking up a lot of the Star Destroyers, which was an awesome move. I mean, that was actually a really cool moment. The problem is, and this was in Kevin Smith's review, I watched that. That thing was an hour and a half, but is a good solid, you know, really breaks down the movie. What I think would have been cool is if instead of, you know, and I got this idea from Kevin Smith, so I'm stealing it from him. Thanks, Kevin. You know, if instead of what's her name, the chick with the purple hair, if Leia had been the one to, you know, fucking ram that shit down their throat, you know, going light speed, because that would have been an awesome way for Leia to go out. I especially since Carrie Fisher is dead, but of course that's not how they do it. You know, she survives the whole fucking thing. Then of course they're down on the planet. Oh, and then hey, there's Luke, right? And Luke, you know, I'm not going to go into everything that happens on the planet, but obviously Luke's not really there. You know, he you know, psychologically screws with him, yada, 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 the Empire and Kylo Ren, and then, oh, he's not really there. And then, you know, Luke dies, evaporates, and he's going to be a Force ghost, right? And then, you know, of course, they all escape, like, just a handful of people. Everybody escapes. You know, Rey uses her Force powers to move the fucking rocks out of the way, and everybody gets on the Falcon and flies away, and then you see a little boy, like, after that, a little boy's like, I'm the future, you know, he has a little resistance ring and shit, and he's the future of the rebellion. You know, the end. Basically, my overall opinion of the movie is I did enjoy it. Yeah, I know I nitpicked a lot of points in it, but overall, I did think it was an enjoyable movie. It was certainly not spectacular. If I had to rate it, you know, between a 1 to 10 scale, I would rate it a 6 or a 7. It was enjoyable, but it was far from, it was entertaining, but it was definitely ham-fisted and not a great Star Wars movie. And what I think I dislike the most about these newer Star Wars movies is they are just a rehash of old Star Wars movies. The Force Awakens was just a rehash of A New Hope, and The Last Jedi was a rehash of Empire Strikes Back. Biggest difference, I guess, between the two is the Empire got really fucked up, too. You know, like, in Empire Strikes Back, they didn't take major heavy losses like they did in Last Jedi. And the Rebellion was also better off after the Empire Strikes Back than the Rebellion was at the end of it. So, I mean, they're both, like, in, quote, worse shape, but overall, it's still kind of status quo. The Empire's still better off than the Rebellion, still has stronger forces, all that. You know, it was okay. And it just didn't change status quo, and it was just a rehash. That's my biggest issue with the franchise at this point. And I also, you know, and I normally don't bitch about movies, like, because sometimes I think people saying, oh, it's SJW influence or overblown. But in this case, I don't know, man. It was pretty blatantly over the top in this movie. I mean, it wasn't, like, horrific. It didn't, like, severely impact my enjoyment of the movie, but it was certainly much more present than what I would have expected in a Star Wars movie. Star Wars has always been fairly apolitical for the most part. I know that originally George Lucas thought it was a great analogy, you know, for the original trilogy, that the Empire represented, like, the United States in Vietnam, and the Rebellion were, like, the, you know, whatever, we're a small guerrilla warfare. But you know, it didn't like hit you over the head with that, you know, analogy. Whereas this is very blatantly and sadly very 2017 political correctness in this movie. I mean, it's not horrific, but it's definitely present, and it is a bit of a detriment. So basically, my overall opinion of this, as a general Star Wars fan, it's okay. But you know, there is some severe hate for this movie online. A lot of people are saying it's the worst Star Wars movie ever made. Not even close. If I have to compare it to the prequels are a terrible steaming pile of dog shit. Okay, they're horrible films. This is at least, these newer movies are at least entertaining. They're not great, but they're entertaining. So quality wise, way higher than the fucking prequels. The prequels are just dog shit. You know, and like I said, this is just coming from me. This is just all my opinion. That's pretty much it. I'd really be interested, you know, to hear in the comments below what you guys think. If you like this, thumbs up. If you hate me, thumbs down. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.